This is the I Am Salt Lake podcast, showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today.
Thank you for joining us for episode 16 of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name is Chris Hollifield, and I'm recording in beautiful downtown Salt Lake City today. If this is your first time listening in, I highly suggest you check us out online at iamsaltlake.com. That's going to connect you with all the previous episodes of the podcast, as well as your contact information to get in touch with us, leave us some feedback, and tell us what you think of the podcast. If you do want to get on the show, feel free to drop me a line as well and get in touch with me. I'm always looking for new guests to come onto the show and talk to and find out their story and what they're doing to make Salt Lake City just a little more awesome. Again, you could subscribe to us on iTunes as well as Stitcher Radio on the website. So this has been a really fun project for me to help showcase Salt Lake City a little bit more. This is a beautiful city, and I love it, and this is just something I'm doing to help give a little bit back to the community. So hopefully you're all enjoying it as I listen to each individual story, and hopefully I can get to each and every one of you. This has been a really fun project, getting to know all of you guys. I believe everybody here has a story to tell, so get in touch with us, as well as, hey, you know what, we have a voicemail line as well, 385-202-5926. Feel free to send us a voicemail and tell us what you think of the podcast. So in this episode, I had a chance to sit down with James over at Salt City Clothing. They're a local clothing company here in Salt Lake City that I noticed was making a little bit of wave in the community, and I wanted to sit down with them. Unfortunately, his business partner Travis wasn't able to sit down, so I got a chance to talk to Travis a little bit and kind of find out the direction that Salt City Clothing is going and what they're doing to help Salt Lake City, and what they're doing with the clothing company. We sat down at Sorry Clementine Clothing after hours and had a conversation that I'm going to be playing here shortly in just 1 second. First of all, though, I do want to give a big thank you to Christian Coleman and the Blues End Band, though, for providing the music for the podcast and the continual support that he gives me over with his band, as well as the Hive Gallery. Check them out. Did an interview with them in episode 7 of the podcast, so hop on line at iamsaltlake.com. Check out the Hive Gallery interview. Christian Coleman, a really great individual. Support him in his projects because he's been a big support to the podcast. So anyways, enough rambling on my part. I'm going to jump right into the conversation that I had with James at Salt City Clothing. Remember, if you like the project that I'm doing here, feel free to hit that donate button on the website and toss over $1 or $2, because that really helps keep the project going and helps with the website fees and all that. So if you like it, feel free to hit that donate button. Thank you very much for your continual support of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. So anyways, I'm talking to James from Salt City Clothing. When did the idea of Salt City Clothing happen for you?
You know, it's been, I'd like to say about 10 years ago. I really started, you know, you take a look at the clothes that you like to wear and you take a look at what's available in stores, and it wasn't, you know, I'm a very art heavy type person. I absolutely love art. If you guys could see me, you'd see my arms and could tell I collect. I got a lot of tattoos, got a lot of artwork at home. I used to draw quite a bit. I don't so much anymore, but you know, it's just, you walk into stores and you see the same old stuff over and over again, just recycled pretty much, and got tired of spending 2 hours looking for a simple t-shirt that I would, you know, actually like wearing, and decided a long time ago I just kind of wanted to eventually start a clothing company the way I wanted it. You know, and it was one of those ideas that like some of the other great ones you have through life, you just kind of sit in your back pocket and go, well, maybe someday. Pipe dream type stuff, you know. Well, about maybe a year and a half ago, me and my best friend Travis are sitting around just talking, and we actually ended up getting an idea to release a deck of cards for a purpose of playing a certain game. Not like poker cards or anything else, but it's just something that hadn't been done yet. Started talking about ways that we could implement, like, you know, t-shirts and stuff based off the artwork on the cards. Well, it quickly went from the unrealistic idea of creating these cards to the more realistic idea of maybe trying to start start a t-shirt company and see where it went from there. And it's it's something that we've been working on for a year to even just get it off the ground. We had no idea. We didn't have anybody telling us how to do it. Had tons of mistakes, and it took us a long time to get it off the ground. But
And I forgot to mention in the beginning, and I apologize, you mentioned Travis. I wanted to mention that your business partner Travis was going to be here, but he wasn't able to make it. So hopefully we can get him back on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure we can.
How did you guys meet? How did you and Travis meet?
Well, not to get into a huge long story, but we ended up just through mutual friends. We I was deployed overseas. I was a Navy corpsman stationed with the ground infantry unit. Came back to the States and moved into a duplex with my mom. The guys next door were awesome to me. Were probably the first friends I had after getting back into Utah.
And how long ago was that?
Oh boy, early 2006, maybe May or June. And after living there for maybe a year next to these guys, I started working again. Worked up at Huntsman Cancer Hospital as a paramedic up there, and decided I was going to go get my own place, and asked these two guys that lived in the duplex next to me if they wanted to move in with. Just through hanging out with them, guy lived in an apartment across the parking lot. That's where Travis lived, and they were friends with him. They'd known him for years and years, and me and him became pretty much hit it off right away. I'd like to think, and been friends ever since.
So in Salt City Clothing, you guys have T-shirts and hats and hoodies, or what else?
Yeah, we started off with I think we did prototype T-shirts first before we did our first run, and just kind of me and Travis warm around, just tried to gauge the response, and it was very positive, not just from friends and family, but from people that just saw us walking by wearing them. We're like, "That's an awesome shirt. Where'd you get it?" And it was we were very proud to be able to say it was us. But when we actually did our first run of shirts, we ended up doing a bunch of hoodies with them too. And the hoodies sold, I think we sold more than half of them before we even had them ready. And the other half immediately afterwards. I didn't even get a chance to get one.
So who comes up with the designs, in you or Travis, or is it kind of a conglomeration of both of you? Or
it's been a pretty good conglomeration at this point. It's a lot of it is I don't know. A lot of it's just looking through artwork that's been submitted to us, and stuff that me and him. If we get an idea, we'll sit there and jot it down and take a quick look at it and pass it past each other to see if it's something that we need to work on and something we could use.
How many different designs do you have?
I think right now we've got a bunch of artwork, but as far as designs that are print ready, I think we're sitting on about 6 or 7.
So describe a couple of them. I mean, you're wearing one of your shirts that I recognize from your Facebook site. It's a fist. I mean, is there any? And actually, is there some writing in there or no? No, I thought maybe there's some.
There was supposed to be on the base. The one you see me wearing right now is actually a prototype.
Okay.
If people go to our website, they'll see the actual production shirt, which has SCC written down on the lower part of the wrist, okay, which is of course stands for Salt City Clothing. We went with the raised fist as our first design. It was, we were looking at quite a few that we had put together and decided early on that what we were trying to do was kind of stay away from what the norm was, almost like a revolution. And so we saw when we came across the raised fist art, multiple ones, not necessarily the one we used, but other ones that we came across were like, that could be a cool idea. Yeah. Doing a raised fist to signify the beginning of this clothing revolution that we're trying to start. So we just kind of went with that with our first design.
It's really cool. I mean, it definitely caught my attention with it. And then you have hats. And is there anything meaning behind the name, or is it just? I mean, does it have anything to do with Salt? I'm assuming Salt Lake City.
Yes.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah, we're both very, very proud Utahns.
Excellent.
As much as I dislike the cold, I still love everything about Utah. We're both our business meetings used to take place, and we'd go hiking twice a week, and we'd always find a different place to hike. We're both love the outdoors as much as we love, the downtown nightlife. And I mean, Utah, you kind of get everything here. And we just kind of wanted to show our love for the state in our name, and also in the fact that, we're really, really only interested in using local artists. when we branch out to using some freelance artists and stuff like that, we're really just trying to stay with people that are within the state.
So you're going to eventually look, or have you? I mean, some of your art done by other local artists, or eventually you will.
We haven't really yet. We were in talks with Big Deluxe Tattoo Shop for a while. A guy down there by the name of JP did most of my artwork. He's a really good person, really good personable guy. You can just walk up to him and talk to him. And shot the idea past him, and he had us talk to a couple other people at the shop. One of which had made a couple of shirts of his own, and they were actually the first people to give us a few pointers on looking into screen printing versus sublimation printing, which is two different processes, and kind of made us realize that we needed to step back a little bit and do a little more research, because we realized very quickly that we didn't know as much as we thought we did.
What is sublimation?
Sublimation's it's used mostly for direct-to-garment type printing. Like if you see a shirt at the store that's got printing over the entirety of the shirt, that's direct-to-garment, which they use sublimation. It's just you turn the ink into a vapor, and the vapor settles into the fabric. It's about as permanent as you can get on a printing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with
stuff.
Screen printing just because that's what my wife does with her clothing line. What do they say is better, or does it matter, or what?
I think it just depends on the look you're going for. We've got a couple of designs that we're really just waiting until we're ready to do sublimation. The stuff we're doing right now is all screen print, but like the shirt I'm wearing, I think just on screen print it stands out a little bit more. It gives it a little more depth and texture.
Is screen printing usually a little cheaper, a little more expensive, or is that kind of a tough question?
It's I would say from everything we've looked into, sublimation's a little bit more expensive.
A little more expensive.
If you're looking to do it yourself, though, I actually think the sublimation comes out to be a little cheaper. The whole screen printing setup itself can be quite costly, a couple $1,000s, but sublimation you can get sub printers for $1,000. The biggest cost is the ink, and you burn through it pretty quick, but you could set up sublimation for $2,000 maybe.
Excellent. And you were mentioning kind of how you learned, you kind of taught yourself. You and Travis have been kind of teaching yourself along the way. You haven't really had anybody teach you a lot of stuff. I mean, what is some advice you would maybe give? A couple of things maybe to say somebody else who is looking to start a clothing company. A couple simple advice.
Keep realistic expectations. Me and Travis were immediately out the gate. We were gonna 8 designs and everything you could possibly think of. Hoodies and jackets and shirts and embroidery and all sorts of other stuff. And you just got to be realistic with it. We started on Kickstarter. Is how we raised our initial funds, and it wasn't much to go around. I think we raised just around $700.
I think that's actually how I found out about you guys, was on Kickstarter. Now that I think about it, so did that actually go well for you, Kickstarter?
It did. Our first, and this comes back to the keeping realistic expectations. We set a goal. Our first, because we did 2 Kickstarter tries, and the first one we set our goal at like something crazy like $2,200, and that was honestly, that's a realistic cost that you would need to get a couple of designs out. It was around $2,200. It costs quite a bit more than you would actually think it does, but and we were very happy with the response the first week. Just through family and friends alone, we raised like $850, I think, the first weekend. We thought for sure we were going to have it. Raised practically nothing after that. Yeah. We didn't promote ourselves well enough, is what it was. So our immediate group of people knew about us, but nobody else did.
So Kickstarter, I've seen a few people on there, and I see some people that have success, some people don't. I mean, do you think somebody could put a Kickstarter up online, but unless you're promoting yourself through, say, outlets like Facebook or Twitter or something, you're probably, it's going to be tough unless somebody's just really stoked on your idea. I mean, would you say Kickstarter is pretty easy to raise funds, or it sounds like not so much, or just depends on what?
A lot of what I've seen on there, some of it comes down to luck of the draw. Yeah. Really, I've seen profiles that you look at it and it's not even anything that interesting, but interesting enough they get put on the front page. And if you do, you're golden.
If you get put on the front page of
yeah,
Kickstarter.
you're golden. Everybody's seen you, and there's tons of people on Kickstarter looking at stuff. I mean, there's tons of really cool stuff on there.
Probably
But-
also depends on what you're giving the people for their donation.
Yeah.
would make a
Yeah.
difference too.
You know, and the girl you interviewed from Peach Treats in an earlier podcast had mentioned that you know what she brings to the market with her earrings is something that on Etsy, you know, she comes up on the first page because there's only a few people that do what she does.
Yeah.
You get on Kickstarter and you pull up clothing and there's 200 people. So you definitely need to get yourself out there and promote. A lot of it, you know, we went for a second try. We sat back for 2 weeks, and because we put a lot of time into it, you know, maybe not as much as we should have, but we definitely put a lot of time into it. So we kind of stepped back for a couple of weeks and reevaluated it, and went at it again with the minimum goal we would need to put out our first run, which is what we were looking at was like 50 shirts or 25 shirts and 25 hoodies. So we set our goal at, I think it was around 700 or 750, and I think, or maybe it was around 600, I think, and we raised about 750, and we were off and ready to go.
That's cool. I mean, now that I remember your Kickstarter, you were kind of one of my inspirational of like wanting to even start this podcast now that I think about it, because I was looking at this and I'm like, you know, here's a couple of guys from Salt Lake. It's like they probably have regular full-time jobs. They have families.
Oh, yeah.
They have lives. And they're trying to start this clothing company. And it's people like yourself that are putting in, you know, they're putting in their 40, 50 hours of their regular job, plus just trying to do something, bringing all this awesome stuff to Salt Lake or, you know, to Utah, wherever. I mean, I'm sure, you know, with your website, you're universal, obviously, but I remember I remember that Kickstarter very well. That was, I mean, that was probably almost, no, was that during the summertime, wasn't it?
Boy,
Or maybe it was further back than that.
I think it was even further back than that. I think we launched our first one, I want to say almost November of last year, about a year ago. Boy, yeah, you kind of start looking back at time and realize how long it's been.
Yeah.
But
So
now,
what,
it was quite a while back, and I think the successful one was maybe middle of spring, early summer.
now what motivates you? I mean, what gets you excited? Like, I mean, obviously there's days where you get a little burned out, I'm sure, from it, but what about it motivates you?
You know, really the thing that keeps me going is the thought that, you know, it's kind of, you have to work towards the goal in anything you do. And honestly, my goal is to walk downtown and see somebody wearing one of my shirts.
Yeah.
I think to me, that's going to be the ultimate payoff. And you know, this isn't, me and Travis didn't get into this to make money. We got into it to make clothes. You know, we've got some shirts we just finished up yesterday. Actually, I've still got the box out in my car. You know, those ones we're barely pulling profit on, but it's not about that. It's about us getting our product on people, because I want that, you know, me and Travis both want that satisfaction of seeing somebody wearing it. You know, you walk into any mall, walk into a JCPenney or something like that next time you're in there, and just take a look around and look at the T-shirts that are for sale. And
Most of them are garbage.
And none of it's art centered. None of it. You know, the old Nike shirts from the 80s, they had some artwork on them. Now it's just a swoosh of Nike. You know, you've got a handful of art-based clothing companies, but they're all like us. They're all smaller clothing companies. I think, you know, it's the same recycled stuff over and over again. It's people using their name. They think that their name is the artwork. Yeah. And it shouldn't be that way. The name should be a byproduct of the artwork. You know, we like to say that we're a very art-centered clothing company. You know, it's a matter of pride for us to you know, eventually what we're wanting is to promote the artwork that's here in Utah and the artists that are here in Utah to the rest of the world. I mean, you don't start a company to stay local. We want everyone to know that we are from Utah and we're proud of the city we're in. And we're going to do that by using local artists, by using, you know, artists from Utah only, by our name. But eventually, you know, I'd love to travel the country and see people wearing our stuff versus just walking around downtown.
So if you're a local artist, I mean, obviously get in touch with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you go to our website, which is just saltcityclothing.com, you can hit us up on there. There's actually a link or some information on there for artists just on our main page that has our email address on there. Go ahead and hit us up. You don't have to send us portfolio or artwork right away. Just hit us up and let us know. And we can figure out an agreement for the artwork, percentages on shirts, or even we're at the point now where we could probably just pay artists outright if it's something we really like.
Yeah.
That was a position we weren't in at the time when we were talking to Big Deluxe, is we really didn't have much to give. We were asking a lot for people that had nothing.
Yeah.
Now we have a little, so we can give back a little bit more. So by all means, if you're out there and you're like-minded like us and would love to see your artwork being worn by somebody else, which is a very gratifying experience, by all means hit us up and we'll figure something out.
And I'll post all the links and everything like I normally do on the IamSaltLake.com website. So because that's kind of what I hopefully want to see with this podcast, is kind of even a networking of people, of I'm a local artist, or I'm a tattoo artist, or I'm this. It's like, okay, I'm listening. It's like here's a contact, and basically creating a community of people. So can you get your designs or any of your clothing at any local places, or is it all just online right now?
It's all, we're all just online right now. If we get back to talks with Big Deluxe, they've got some retail space down in their shop, which, if their artists do some artwork for us, then that would probably exclusively be what would be in their shop, would be their artists, which, is the way we would want it. Maybe a few of our things, smattered in there too, but, we've talked a little bit to a couple of people, nothing that we've really hit hard on yet. We're kind of just waiting until we get maybe 3 or 4 more designs out, and then we're going to hit it pretty hard and try and get picked up in a couple of stores. But Wizards and Dreams, through Travis, he's got a friend who I guess runs the shop over there, and there's been some talks about maybe we get a couple designs together. We could talk to them, and
right on.
So we're hoping realistically by next summer we should be in a few spots.
Awesome. So when you're not making shirts or art, I mean, what are some other hobbies of yours? What other things?
Well, we've both picked up golfing. We're both horrible at it, but we enjoy it.
Yeah, no, you were mentioning that, and I've actually always wanted to pick up golfing myself.
Well, you're more than welcome to come out with us. Obviously not now; it's getting a little too cold, but today would have been a great day.
I don't know. This weather's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true. Might have 2 more weeks of golf ahead, but a lot of hiking. Me and my wife, when it's warm, we try and take my son down to the park on Sundays. It's kind of become a tradition for us. And Travis and his girlfriend come down occasionally to join us for that. And, it's, I think, I had a great hobby. Me and Travis both had a great hobby over the summer. We worked at a rappel tower out on Camp Williams. Got to hang out all day at work on the weekends and jump off a 45-foot rappel tower. So,
well, it's ridiculous.
I don't know if that's necessarily a hobby because we were getting paid for it, but it was a lot of fun. And
you should make money off your hobbies. I mean, even down to you were mentioning, sure. You don't want to make money off your clothing. It's like at the end of the day, though, I'm sure you would be happy if you could do it full time. If you got to the point where you were able to do that, I think people are definitely able to produce more too as well.
Well, eventually. Honestly, if I was getting paid to do this, I think we'd be a little bit further along than we are. I would definitely be able to justify dedicating more time to it, and I do 4 or 5 hours a night. I've been working on the websites and everything else, but yeah, an 8-hour workday would definitely be great. I'd love it. I love doing what we're doing. It would be awesome. Nothing better than to get paid doing something you love.
Oh, absolutely.
But, for realistic growth, me and Travis have both kind of took a step back and just said, what do we need to do to make the company grow? And the best way to do that is to just take all the money that we do get, put it back in. And, we've both have set ourselves on the goal that we're not going to pull a dime from the company personally until we've hit the 5-year mark. And when we hit the 5-year mark, we're going to sit down and take a real good look at it too. And hopefully by that point we would be able to, but
So where do you see yourself in 5 years? I mean, hopefully. Or is that kind of
Honestly, I think if everything that we've got planned pans out, which of course it won't all, but if even half of it does, I could see us doing really good in sales. We're really trying to hit a lot of concerts this summer. If you go to any of the Palpalooza, we'll be there. Desert Rocks, we're going to be there. Any of those, take a look for us and we'll be there. And hopefully 4 or 5 years down the road, we'll be putting on our own concerts and our own shows. And my real interest is you brought up networking. That's actually a project that I'm working on right now is putting together a website that allows like-minded artists to be able to interconnect, like you're trying to do, through your podcast and your website, giving people a place that, hey, I've got this, hey, I'm a band, but I need some T-shirts. Well, I'm a T-shirt company that wants promotion, and trying to put people together like that. And that, that's a very basic example, but your wife has a couple of shirts that have buttons on them, as far as she knows, there could be somebody down the street that makes great buttons locally in Salt Lake from Utah, not having to order from out of state. Trying to put other Utah manufacturers and producers of goods, and art together so we can keep more money, not just in the United States, but in this state. I would love to be able to say my shirt is made in Utah on Utah fabric using Utah screen printing ink by Utah screen printer on, and just be able to go down the list and know that all that money was staying here.
So is this that other project you were talking about then?
It's one of them that we're working on right now. And it's definitely, it's going to be a very labor heavy as far as the website. This is the website that I'm going to have to put together for this is going to make the one that we've got for our clothing company look like a 2-year-old did it.
Yeah.
A lot more, a lot less basic than our website.
So could anybody do anything now? I mean, because that sounds like an interesting project. I mean, obviously, if you're somebody from Salt Lake or Utah, I mean, and they do something like that, should they contact you as well, I guess? Or?
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys now. If that's something you're interested in, it's more or less, we're trying to stay away from the whole advertisement side of just advertising people's local companies. But we want to give people the information, not just throw you on a page and say, hey, this is this person, but, this is Joe and he owns a button shop and he's been in business for 20 years and he makes this and this. Why don't you take a look? But I mean, on that, if you are an artist that wants to print on T-shirts, contact us. If you're a band that's looking to have, promotional stuff made up, not necessarily just T-shirts, but anything else, hit us up. 'Cause, over the last year, we've made a lot of friends in a lot of circles, and we've facilitated a lot of other people helping each other out too. And it's, I think you get a big network of local artists together, you're going to find somebody that can do everything. Like right now, we need our website built. I would love if anybody out there wants to build a website to use as a show-off piece of like, this is what I can do, hit me up. Yeah. I'll hand it over.
Yeah.
Give me more time for the clothing stuff. But yeah, I mean, by all means, hit us up, send us an email. If you want to be mentioned on our website when we do get it up and running, we'll start collecting names now and contact you later. And
so you mentioned that was one of your extra projects. Was there something else that you wanted to mention, or was that kind of all? I mean, or are you just kind of like me that has a million ideas going at the same time, and you're just like, I don't know how to stop it.
Well, definitely, between me and Travis, we've always got some idea down the pipeline. But it's. I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that when we first started, it was off the idea of having a purpose set deck of cards for a certain game, and the reason I say a certain game is because we might still do it down the road, so I'm not quite pulling that one out. But my dad is a great artist. He designed the shirts we just had done, and right now he's gonna be working on a deck of playing cards, poker type playing cards for us. I'm also going to try my hand at it too and see how it turns out. But that's something else, probably a month from now, I would say my deck of cards should be up on up on Kickstarter. We're going to give that a shot on there.
Awesome.
And then the second deck of cards, the one my dad's designing, probably looking maybe next summer. My dad, by the way, is an amazing artist. Very great author too. We're trying to spin the cards into the cards are going to be based off of his book, which hopefully we'll be able to help him release.
What is he? Oh, so he hasn't released any books yet?
No, not yet.
What kind of book is he? What is he writing?
It's a fantasy type book. Elves and dwarves and great conflict between four kingdoms, and it's very reminiscent of the Lord of the Rings type trilogy stuff, which to which I was a huge fan of, but I don't know if it's because I'm being because it's my dad, but I mean his book is amazing. I read it in 2 days when I was 14 years old, couldn't put it down. Read it several times since then. Absolutely amazing book. Timing hasn't been right to put it out, and the timing is right now. So,
well, excellent. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on and telling. I mean, is there anything else you want to add? I mean, you're on Facebook and Twitter, or are you guys on Twitter or no?
We've been looking into it. I have a hard enough time promoting us on Facebook that I'm afraid to stretch us too thin.
Yeah.
But we're really thinking here probably within the next month or two, stuff will be a little bit more streamlined for us, and we'll have that time.
And what's the link? I mean, feel free to say what the Facebook site is, and then obviously I'll put that on the website too.
Yeah, you can just. I think we're really the only Salt City Clothing on Facebook. Just go ahead and.
So is it just facebook.com/Salt City Clothing?
Salt City Clothing, yeah.
Excellent, and then saltcityclothing.com. And
hit us up at saltcityclothing@gmail.
Okay, excellent.
If you're an artist or even just somebody who's interested in talking to us, I love talking to people that are in the industry. Other artists. So I mean, you just want somebody to talk to, go ahead and hit us up too. I'm always down for that. So.
Well, excellent. Thanks a lot, James. I mean, and next time we'll get Travis on here too, and.
Yeah, definitely. I know he was really
catch up.
Really bummed out that he couldn't be on, but yeah, we'll meet back up here.
Yeah, and a little bit down the road, and maybe the start of the new year, and I mean that's New Year's is right around the corner. So, anyways, if there's nothing else, that will do it for now. And thank you so much for coming on and being part of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, James, for joining us for episode 16 of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. Go over to iamsaltlake.com and leave us a comment and some feedback and let us know what you think of the episode, as well as the conversation I had with James over at Salt City Clothing. Feel free to become a fan of theirs on Facebook. I'm going to put all the links over on the website as well. And like I said, subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us a review on iTunes. That really helps out our ratings and lets us get more exposed to more people, and lets our project continue and continue and continue. It's been really fun. Thank you very much, Salt Lake City, for letting me talk to you and tell you some stories of people that are making a difference here in Salt Lake City. Again, my name is Chris Hollifield. This is the I Am Salt Lake podcast. I'll be back on Wednesday with a brand new episode for you to find out another story of another person or another professional making a difference here in Salt Lake City. Thank you very much. You guys have a good night and be safe.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, this is Jennifer Christensen. I am calling from Cookie Athlete. We have a site called cookieathlete.com. We're located all over Utah. I actually live in Salt Lake. We're holding an event down in American Fork, so technically not a Salt Lake thing, but if you could give us a shout out, we would love it. It's November 17th, the weekend before Thanksgiving. It's a 5K called Freeze Your Cookies Off. You run the 5K, and at the end there is a tent full of cookies and other treats and stuff, because as cookie athletes, we like to say that we work out so that we can eat cookies. So if you want to invite anyone to register, that would be so cool. Our address, cookieathlete.com, and there's a tab on there called Races, and you can just register right there. $25. It's a pretty cheap race. All right, cool. Thanks. See you. Good luck to you. Bye.